Despite its reputation with Westerners as being a more traditional city, when you first arrive and exit the station, Kyoto feels very similar to Tokyo. The first landmark to greet you is the iconic Kyoto Tower, and when you turn to face the station, its modern design and massive size remind you that you are in the 9th largest city in Japan. The first order of business for my trip was to find lunch. Because I couldn't check into my Airbnb before 4 p.m. and I wanted to visit a temple in the afternoon, I chose a spot close to the station. As I crossed the busy street, I remembered that directly below Kyoto Tower, there's a food hall called the Kyoto Tower Sando, full of different stalls serving different Japanese cuisines. A perfect place for a quick bite. I just ordered from a shop. I got some fried chicken and some special sauce. It's a set. It comes with a bunch of different, it's gonna be a bunch of food. And I got a beer, of course. So we have some rice. We have some fried chicken and some special sauce. We have some extra special sauce, maybe. A couple of dumplings. Some pickled something or other. I'll have to figure that out. Try it. And of course, a beer. Let's try the chicken first. Let's try the dumpling. Very good. Very good lunch. Now that my belly is full of beer and fried chicken, it is time to hop on the train and head to the first shrine. Luckily, it is extremely accessible and only 2 stations away, the beautiful Fushimi Inari. Fushimi Inari is the head shrine of the deity Inari, said to be the god equivalent of rice and agriculture. Additionally, Inari is worshipped as the patron of business by merchants and manufacturers. The earliest structures of the shrine were built in the year 711 in a different part of Kyoto, but the shrine was relocated in 816 to its current location. The main shrine was built in 1499, and there's another inner shrine partway up the mountain and thousands of mounds for private worship at the top. Foxes, regarded as the messengers, are often found in Inari shrines, and some with keys for the rice granary in their mouths. While walking around any shrine in Japan, you're likely to see people wearing a less formal version of the kimono called a yukata. Historically, yukatas were worn as a year-round bathrobe, but their modern use is now much broader. Yukatas are typically worn in more casual settings such as festivals, where kimono are worn for more formal settings such as funerals, weddings, or graduations. The start of the trail up the mountain is a popular spot for photos. You can encounter long lines of girls in yukata waiting to get their picture taken, oftentimes by a professional photographer. A unique characteristic of this shrine is the roughly 1,000 torii gates that line the path up the mountain, each of which were donated by a Japanese business. The cost of donating a torii gate starts at just over $3,500, with the largest gates costing over $9,000. You can see how many people there are when the sign said you had to go up a mountain. You have to climb a mountain, 90% of people turn around. I don't consider myself a religious person, but it's hard not to experience some sort of spiritual aura in a place like this. People on the trail tread quietly to respect not only each other, but the cultural significance of what they have been allowed to experience. Thankfully, halfway up the mountain there is a lookout spot where you can rest and get a breathtaking view of your progress so far. Making it to the top of Fushimi Inari is not only a physical accomplishment, but for me also a mental one. My life had changed a lot in the 3 years between trips up the mountain, but thankfully the confidence boost I needed then and now greeted me at the summit. Now, it's time to head back down and check in at the Airbnb. First thing when you walk in the door on your left is the bathroom, or at least the toilet half of the bathroom. There's not a whole lot of room between the door and the toilet, so if you're going to go in there and sit down and close the door, it's going to be tough. Moving on to the main room, you can see that I splurged a little bit and got a king-size bed for my stay for my 2 nights here in Kyoto. You can see for some reason there are mirrors around the bed, so there's me. Hey, what's up? Let's go to the other half of the bathroom. The other half of the bathroom is obviously our tub slash shower. Very weird tub, definitely not going to be laying down in there unless you're a contortionist, but it is very deep. So then you have your shower head, and it's essentially a room that is your shower, but it also includes a tub. That's very common in hotels and things in Japan. Now let's check out my little seating area, but right next to it we have the balcony. Let's figure out if I can get out onto the balcony. Balconies in Japan are very small, typically. You'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about right here. You're not even going to be able to put a chair out on this balcony. It is tight. Alright guys, we just finished up at the Kyoto Pokemon Center. Now I'm going to stop at 7-Eleven or Family Mart and get a Gaijin Killer. It's called Strong Zero, and it's like 10% alcohol, and it's supposed to be basically like juice. So we're going to give it a shot. It'll definitely put me to sleep tonight, that's for sure. Alright guys, we have our Strong Zero, 9% alcohol. I think there's a lemon version and a lime version, I'm pretty sure. They nicknamed this the Gaijin Killer. Gaijin means foreigner, basically. So foreigners must get a bunch of these and drink them and get hammered and lights out. So let's open it up and give it a shot. I watch a lot of Abroad in Japan. He's always talking about Strong Zero and how he likes it. Interestingly enough, you saw in the video probably that I had to click a button on the register. It literally just asked me if I was 20 or not, and I clicked yes. How is that going to stop anyone from drinking if you're not 20? What if you're 19? Can you just click yes? Just click the yes button and you're good to go? Oh, I can smell a bit of lemon in there. Kind of smells like lemonade-y. It's carbonated. It's basically a carbonated lemonade. That is crazy. There's no bite at all. If you told me that this was just like a carbonated lemonade or like basically Sprite, I'd be like, yeah, makes sense. It's just a 9% alcohol Sprite. Wow. That's good. That's dangerous. I understand why it's called the Gaijin Killer now. Day 2 in Kyoto. It's about 5:30, close to 6 in the morning. And sunrise happens at about 6:30. So I want to go to Kiyomizudera Shrine Temple. It's the biggest one, I don't know if it's the biggest one here in Kyoto, but it's the most beautiful in my opinion. I want to head over there and see if I can get some cool photos for sunrise, and we'll record going through the temple. Kiyomizudera was constructed in the late 700s by a Buddhist priest who received a vision to construct a temple next to the Otowa Spring. The temple's current structures were built in 1633. There wasn't a single nail used in the entire structure. The temple takes its name from the waterfall within the complex. Kiyomizu means clear water. In 2007, Kiyomizudera was one of the 21 finalists for the new 7 Wonders of the World. Unfortunately, it wasn't chosen, but with views like this, I completely agree with the nomination. If you come early enough and are lucky enough, you may be able to witness some of Kyoto's senior population doing some morning stretches. Omikuji are random fortunes written on strips of paper at different shrines and temples in Japan. They are usually received by making a small offering and randomly choosing one from a box. The omikuji predicts the person's chances of their chosen hopes or wishes coming true. When the prediction is bad, it is custom to fold up the strip of paper and attach it to a pine tree or wall of metal wires alongside other bad fortunes in the temple or shrine grounds. A reason for this custom is a pun on the word for pine tree matsu and the verb to wait matsu. The idea being that the bad luck will wait by the tree rather than attach itself to the bearer. Beneath the main hall is the Ottawa waterfall, where 3 channels of water fall into a pond. Visitors can catch and drink the water, which is believed to have wish-granting powers. The popular expression to jump off the stage at Kiyomizu is the Japanese translation of the English expression to take the plunge. This refers to a tradition that held that if one were to survive a 43-foot jump from the stage, one's wish would be granted. During the Edo period, 234 jumps were recorded, and of those, 85% of people survived. The practice was prohibited in 1872. Kiyomizudera, once again, absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite places to come in Kyoto. Between Inari, Kiyomizudera, Arashiyama, Kyoto is just gorgeous. It's beautiful. Definitely, highly recommend if you get a chance to come to Japan. Come to Kyoto. Absolutely beautiful shrines and places to see. Next up on the list is Dragon Star Kyoto. Looks like it's on the 2nd floor of this building. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Something that draws a lot of people to Japan is their otaku culture. Otaku is a Japanese word that describes people with consuming interests, particularly in anime, manga, video games, or computers. And recently, I've gotten really into buying, selling, and collecting Pokemon cards. A big reason why I took this trip as early as I did was to go to Japan and source Pokemon cards. Little did I know the situation in Japan is even crazier than it is here. I didn't leave with any great buys or any great news sources to get products from Japan directly. Most of the card stores I went to had ultra modern cards, stuff that came out in the last couple of years, and if they did have vintage stuff, it was pretty expensive for the condition that it was in. Now that I've had my fill of looking at shiny cardboard, let's find some lunch before hopping on the bullet train back to Tokyo. One of the types of restaurants I wanted to try this trip was a yakiniku restaurant. Yakiniku refers to a style of cooking bite-sized meat and vegetables over a gridiron typically built into the table where you are seated. First, I was served a collection of delicious side dishes including a dressed salad, kimchi, dressed carrots and potatoes, and more. Then I got my plate of thinly sliced buttery wagyu that I grilled myself over the gridiron, and of course a side of rice. The best part about a yakiniku restaurant is you can cook everything to your liking. In mere seconds, the wagyu is ready to dip and eat. Everything about this meal was superb. I could have eaten meat here for hours, but unfortunately it's not unlimited and time was running short. It was time for me to take the bullet train back to Tokyo. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's not my regular style of content, but I had such a great time, I wanted to share it with you all.